Hello students, in the previous videos we have started with timber as a material from its classification and properties. In this video we are going to see about seasoning of timber. The seasoning, this is a process by which moisture content in a freshly cut tree is reduced to a suitable level. By doing so, the durability and workability of the timber is increased. So that is the concept. So in initial topic we have mentioned the presence of sapwood, so around the core hardwood. So if you cut down the exogenous trees into cross section, you may able to see this particular structure where you just focus on the presence of this sapwood. This sapwood is the responsible layer or portion of the timber uh, uh, through which or by which the water content, the moisture content is being sucked up and it is being distributed throughout your the tree. So this sapwood we are going to treat so that the moisture content of the entire mass of the timber can be reduced down to certain extent. So why we need to reduce? Once you reduce it only, we can use the timber for your further engineering process like cutting, sharpening, edging, polishing, or whatever it may be, right? So if you don't reduce that moisture content to certain level, it would be very stiff timber and it would furtherly attracting moistureness on its surface or in its mass, and it may allow the further fungi growth on its surface. So to avoid that deterioration perspective and to encourage the timber to subject itself for various engineering process, we are reducing we are in need of reducing that moisture content inside the timber. So that moisture reducing process is called the seasoning. So normally seasoning can be done in either way of a natural seasoning or artificial seasoning. Natural seasoning consists of two options: by using airflow, by using water flow, right? So in case of air seasoning, it is carried out in a shed with a platform. So the shed is having a platform of 300 millimeter high, where timber box are stacked. Timber box in the sense the cut down piece of timber, right? So the care is taken to see that there is a proper air circulation around each timber box. In such a way, the stacking is being arranged. So over a period, in a natural process of continuous air circulation, moisture content reduces. Simply like our we are washing clothes and we are drying it on our terrace and clipping it, right? And the cloths are drying simply by your the airflow and your sunlight, right? So similarly the same condition prevails here. A well seasoned timber contains only 9 to 13 percentage moisture. For example, if you cut down a tree and you cut down into a some 5 meter 1 meter length of timber piece, and that 1 meter length of timber piece, if it is assumed to have 100% moisture content, that 100% has to be reduced to at least 9 to 13 range. In certain places you may able to find some 5 to 6 percentage. So that is the limit. Some 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 you can fix, right? 5 to 15. So that level you have to reduce the moisture content, then only it can be called well seasoned timber. So this is a slow but a good process of seasoning. Yes, airflow is a natural one, but still it takes a lot of time. So that is the issue here. So then in case of airflow seasoning, so it may uh, yes, may look like this. So airflow and people are stacking it into the on a platform. So it may look like that the very cover page of our unit 1 is nothing but this particular air seasoning, right? So the platforms are being arranged in this way, and over which the timbers are stacked in such a way so there is a gap in between each and every horizontal layer as well as vertical layer. So in such way the roof is provided to get it avoided from any moisture or rainy moments. So in this way, the timbers are getting seasoned through airflow, but it takes a long time. The second option is using water flow. Yes, earlier days this was being followed. Still, by modifying it to certain extent, people are using this methodology also, right? Water seasoning is carried out on the banks of rivers. Understand? We need a river flow. They are telling, and the thicker end of the timber is kept pointing upstream side. And after a period of 2 to 4 weeks, the timber is taken out. During this period, sap contained in the timber is washed out to a great extent. Then timber is stacked in a shed for free air circulation. Understand? Once we see air seasoning, it is all about simply stacking and letting it allowed for air circulation. But in further processing, a certain other process would have done earlier as a preliminary primary stage, and in the second stage they will go for air seasoning, right? So in water seasoning, what they are telling, and uh, cut down longitudinally, cut down timber box are thrown into the river floor, so in such way. So if you see this, you can understand, right? So this is how the timbers are being placed onto the river flow, and you can able to see this, right? So this particular place, so this is how the timber box are being thrown onto the river flow, and one place it would throw inside, and the other place people may be there to recover it back, and the cycle may happen some number of times. So what is happening? So even though if you don't have a running river flow, you can even do the water seasoning with the stagnant water itself, like this, right? So it's a stagnant water, and the wooden timber box are expected to float in the same place as it is. So the criteria is, in case of if you are preferring a stagnant water, you have to change the stagnant water once in 2 weeks or a week. So that is important. So what is happening while such water seasoning happens? So what happens when the logs are placed, wooden logs are placed in running water, the sap from the cells, the wooden cells, is getting replaced with an ordinary water. So, right? So, in place of the sap, cells get filled with ordinary water. So, that transformation happens. So, if you are simply keeping the timber, if you are simply keeping the timber for air seasoning, this exchange doesn't happen. So that only it takes more time to remove that wood cell water from the mass of the timber. But in case of water seasoning, we are in a different way exchanging the wood cell water with the ordinary water. So what happens once the exchange happens, after certain period of time, the washed out timbers are taken out from the water surface, and it is being stacked as in your air seasoning, right? Then ordinary water which is available right now in your wooden cells now can be easily dried out. So the total period of water seasoning may be somehow lesser than the total period of your air seasoning. So that's the concept, right? So but still, even these two practices are there, due to if it is there any frequent demand of timber, people may go for artificial methods of seasoning, right? So they are simply forcing the process due to the time constraint and the increased demand scenario. So in this method, the timber is seasoned in the sense in artificial seasoning, right? Seasoned in a chamber with regulated heat and controlled humidity and proper air circulation. The seasoning can be completed in 4 to 5 days itself, and certain types are mentioned here. The first one is boiling. Yes, heat, right? And this method, timber is immersed in water, then water is boiled to the boiling temperature up to for 3 to 4 hours. then it is dried slowly. So you just understand we are in the purpose of removing moisture content. Don't think that we are having a objective of removing moisture content and we are still immersing it into the water. The reason is, while we are immersing the timber into water, the ordinary water is getting replaced with the wood cell water which is available in the mass of the timber, right? So that water exchange happens by immersing in water. So now the ordinary water which is filled inside the wooden cells can be easily dried out with your air recycle, air flow. Right, so that is the purpose why people are immersing it into the water. Don't think in other sense, right? So don't think contradictorily. We need to reduce the water, but still they are asking us to immerse it into the water. How it will be happening? It's not that. By immersing it into the water, the exchange of cell water of wood and the ordinary water happens, right? So, if it is in a high temperature of course, boiling temperature of water, it would allow the drying of your the moisture content. Instead of boiling water, hot steam may be circulated on timber. So, this process of seasoning is fast but costly. Costly in the sense of what we need to provide higher energy input for providing such a higher range of temperature. Then kiln seasoning. Kiln again, the same time we have seen in your brick manufacturing also, kiln burning, right? So kiln is a closed chamber in which we can control the temperature and other sort of parameters, right? It may look like this in a very higher range of industries, and or it may look like you know the entire box like this. So this and all are clean, so inside which the stacks of wooden logs would be sent inside. It may look in this cylindrical ways also in the towards to inside which also by sending it we can do that seasoning process by with the help of kiln. So kilns are available in various shapes and dimensions. Understand that. So how they simply uh, displace. So making some space for consecutive timbers. Can you able to understand? Yes, timber and some sheet, metal sheet or something like that, which can withstand that the inner side higher temperature. So that's the matter. So by which we can able to do or complete the drying up process so quick, right? So then chemical seasoning. Chemical seasoning again, instead of immersing the timber into simply a water, a solution water is being used, then the timber is dried in a kiln. So right, so this preliminary treatment by chemical seasoning ensures uniform seasoning of outer and inner parts of timber. So what they are telling, before either going for clean seasoning or any other seasoning, you just preliminarily treat your timbers with the help of that chemical salt, so that what happens, the seasoning may be done throughout the structure of your timber. So chemical seasoning is nothing but using an appropriate salt solution, and you have to immerse it in that, and you have to let it there for certain minutes, then you take it out and go for the other type of seasoning, kiln seasoning or air seasoning. Then finally, electrical seasoning. In this method, high frequency alternate current is passed through the timber. Resistance to the electric current is low when moisture content is high, because moisture content means water conduct electricity, so resistance is lesser. As moisture content reduces over the period of time, the resistance will be increases. So by measuring the resistance value in between the two parts of a timber, we can able to understand when the seasoning, the electricity passing can be stopped. So it's a costly process, and this technique may be tried in some plywood industries, but not in seasoning of timber on mass scale. So plywood seasoning, they may be used electrical seasoning, but in case of timber, it is not that feasible, right? So which means it would be taking more cost and effort and skill labor requirement like that, right? So seasoning, natural, air and water; artificial in the sense boiling, kiln, chemical and electrical seasoning.